Good evening, everyone. Sorry about that. So, good evening, everyone. So, I don't know if you can hear me. How are you doing? So, before we start and before saying a proper hi to you, I would like to do some technical checks and to see if we are well connected live on 3 platforms, because yes, we will be live at the same time on 3 different platforms. So on Facebook, so the Facebook of the channel, on YouTube, and on LinkedIn. So don't be shy and just join us, and please just leave a like, a heart, a comment, just to say hi, to say how you are. And at the same time, it will give me the opportunity to check if we are live properly. So I will let you do that, and at the same time, I will just start with the introduction and the presentation. So first of all, how are you? And I will second also, I did not have the opportunity to say a proper Happy New Year since we are in 2024. So Happy New Year, everyone, and all my best wishes to you and your beloved one. And I'm wishing you an amazing health. This is what I can wish you. It's the only thing I would wish you, I would say, and the rest we will go and work right for it. So given that it is the first time that I'm doing a live interview in English, I wanted to introduce quite fast the channel at the same time. So I am Selena, if you don't know me, and through this channel, I would like to support initiatives and projects from different business sectors and find out a little more about their backgrounds, right? Their motivation and their vision. So it will be an opportunity to learn, to discover their products, services, concept, to be inspired, right? And if this is something that speaks to you, I invite you to follow us and subscribe so you don't miss a thing. So I'm checking the comment section to see if we are live. And who has already commented? Oh, perfect. So we have Dr. Aboubakar Kader Diarra. Hi, Abu, and thank you very much for joining us. So with that being said, I will not waste more time. My guest is already here in the backstage, in the studio, as I love to say, and I will just ask him if he's ready to join us. Marc, are you ready? Thank you very much. Oh, Asma, thank you very much, Asma. Okay, perfect. So our guest is ready, and we're just gonna let him in.
Hello, Selena. Hi. Hello, everyone.
Good evening. How are you?
Very good, thank you. Thanks for having me here.
Perfect. Well, thank you. I'm the one who should thank you for accepting the invitation and for, you know, sharing this hour with us. And yeah, I maybe did not mention that earlier. I don't know if people know what we will talk about today. Who is Marc? What is AUTEM? You know, what is he doing? And but we will discover all this together today, his journey, his motivation, his vision, challenges, you know, and everything. And I heard that you have some information to share with us, exclusive one.
Yeah, you know, exactly, because you know, you're also a YouTuber, and on my channel, I rarely talk about the business side of what I'm doing, right? I'm always sharing stuff about how to develop skills or how to train yourself being a better engineer. But yeah, today I'll talk about the business side. So for those who are interested about, you know, what's AUTEM, what we do, what our challenges, you know, don't hesitate to ask the questions now. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So people, do not hesitate to leave your likes, your comments, your question. We will go through that, you know, during the whole hour. So Marc, so to start in a proper way, I will ask you with your own words, right, to introduce yourself. Who are you, Marc?
Great. Yeah, I'm Marc Akoto, 30 years old. I'm a father and a husband. How about that as an introduction?
I did not know. Look at this. Well,
yeah.
It's your introduction, right?
Well, for me, it's already a lot because, especially the fatherhood part, I discovered last year, and I can tell you it's a lot of energy to put in. So.
Really, you put more energy in a fatherhood than in AUTEM?
I think so. Yeah. Those who
Great.
know me better will agree, but yeah. Anyway, so I'm also the founder and director of AUTEM, which is a industrial automation service company. So I've been doing a lot of engineering before. We will have an opportunity to talk about that. I'm currently based in France, and yeah, I like to talk about engineering stuff also on the social media. So.
Okay. So maybe to start with, I want to and I love asking that. You said that you studied engineering. We will go through that. I mean, we'll deep dive into that soon. I wanted to know, like, how was it for you to choose what you wanted to study? Did you know? Because some people know already what they want to do, you know, and they just follow the right path, you know, for that. And some people, you know, they just go. They just start the journey, and with time, you know, they discover things, and they or they try different things. How was it for you?
Well, good question. And to answer quickly, I didn't know I wanted to be an engineer at the beginning. But I think I had a sense of that from my young age. I remember with my brother, maybe he's watching this. We were playing, you know, on the gardens, and what we really liked to do is to build stuff. You know, you are just there. You have different materials, and you will try to do something with it. So that kind of, you know, building stuff, being curious about the environment, what is around you, I think that's what gave me this, you know, engineering mindset. But apart from that, the real you know, engineering, I would say, vocation, I would say it came from one of my uncles. His name is Mr. Nyandyo. If he watches this, he will recognize him. But we had a chat when I was in, I think, last year of high school, you know, and I was telling him, well, I'm interested in a lot of stuff. What is your advice? And he told me, we don't need people who have a lot of years of studies. We don't need people who have, I don't know, double doctorates, you know, a lot of degrees, but can't do nothing from their hands, right? And he told me, whatever you do, you need to be useful. And that's what we need in our society. So I think I tried to follow his advice, and here I am.
So not to collect only degrees, right?
Yeah, and I think until today, I really hate the you know, certificates, degrees, you know, everything that looks very, I don't know, abstract or theory.
Mm.
Even though I studied in very prestigious schools. I was in France in the Métier school, which is very well known in the engineering field. I also studied at Georgia Tech, Georgia Institute of Technology in Atlanta. But I don't consider myself, being like a master of science guy. I consider myself more of an engineering and maker guy,
Mm.
Yeah.
I see. Interesting. So did you study like your whole study or academic journey was in France?
I actually studied multiple places. So, yeah, main schools were in France and in the US. So, 4 or 5 years in France and 1 in the US. Roughly, that's about the like high school studies. Before that, I like to mention also the primary education, high school education, because I really think that's what builds us. So on that part, I also navigated between very wonderful environments, and yeah, all of that being together, I think that's what builds you as an engineer.
Definitely. Okay, interesting all this. So we have a couple of comments. I see your comment. Thank you. So we said, so for what I understood, you're a father since last year, right?
Yes.
Okay. Well, congratulations, first of all.
Thank you.
And yeah, I know it is also a whole journey. We can maybe talk about it also later to see how you manage,
why not?
all this, right? So now let's go and focus a bit on AUTEM, right? Can you please tell us what is AUTEM? Could you introduce?
Yes. I noticed that the name was not self-explanatory. So on LinkedIn, I added the real meaning. It's industrial automation. That's what we do. That's our specialty. So that's a company I started in 2020 after, I would say, 5 years working for companies like manufacturing companies, factories in several sectors. So in 2020, I was here founding that company in the middle of COVID, which was also an adventure. We will talk about that. But so it's been more than 3 years now, and we specialize in everything which is related to automated device in industries. You can think of, robots who will take, I don't know, the door of a car and put it for welding, for instance. You can think of manufacturing software, which will tell you on the screen what's the production rate, what are the quality rates, etc. It can be also, some more hardware-oriented activities like replacing a motor or configuring some motion devices. So everything related to automation and to industry usually come into our possibilities and capacities. So we work mainly in France in terms of geographic areas. And currently we are 2 of us. It's like this since last year. At the beginning, from 2020 until 2022, I was alone in more of a freelance role, right? And last year I changed the form of the company. So currently it's more of a, I would say, formal corporate company, and it's registered in Paris, and we are 2 of us. So my colleague Shukri is more oriented on instrumentation and what we call motion control. So everything, how can I sum it up? More of hardware stuff, right? Okay. And on my side, I deal with the software topics, so programming, deploying on the servers, and etc.
Okay, this is really interesting. So, just quick question: the AUTEM, what is the signification of AUTEM? Does it have a specific signification? Yeah.
It's so inside AUTEM you have automation, electrical and mechanical. So you have like the founding words, right? But it happens to mean something interesting also in Latin. It means going through or improving, you know, or despite the idea of coming from a standing ground and growing, you know. And that's why also, if you look more on the logo, you have that line which is coming from the bottom and going up. So if you mix all of that together, that's what it means. And I think that's the first time I explained it. So
now I understand. I want it. So it's really great because you have really great stories, you know, sometimes behind logos, and I think it's important also to ask and to understand what it's behind, what is behind. But okay, so, thank you. So so you already answered the question. So you are two right now. I know that it is new, so you are two. But how did the idea come to you? How did it come? Like when you finished the studies and then you started directly your own business, or you did not work in a, I don't know, company? I mean, what motivated you to start your own business, and when did it start? I mean, explain when, but I don't know, like with the end of your studies and the beginning of AUTEM.
Technically, I graduated in 2017, both from Tech and RMIT, but I like to put the start of my career in 2015 because I, like the last 2 years of my study, basically I was in companies doing real stuff. So it's more of like, I don't know, currently they call it like apprenticeship. Sorry for the accent. So yeah, let's say we are in 2015. I'm starting in automation in industry, and I had a lot of plans. I still have a big plan, which is not for now. Like I have that long-term goal, and you know, everything that happened between 2015 and now, they are just, let's say, a preparation or a training for that long-term goal, right? So I will deceive you if I tell you the truth, but here is the truth. I started AUTEM because I was bored. Because it was 2020, you know, it was COVID. I've been working in industries for 5 years. I came to a certain point where I had the feeling that I stopped learning, and I hated that idea, you know, to stay at a level and just grow in the hierarchy, but not grow in your knowledge. So as I told you at the beginning, I have that mindset of curiosity, which told me you have to do something, right? So I started a business, but maybe I could have done something else. But to tell you the truth, that's the real start of AUTEM.
Okay, and you were not afraid?
I was not afraid, you know, because as I told you, like those years, I consider them as a training. Even if, you know, having a company is not a small deal, right? You have to deal with the administrative stuff. You need to find some client, make some money. Currently, it's going pretty well, but I still consider it as a training portion of my life. Of course, in the view of that long-term goal of mine, but I wouldn't say it was frightening because I'm someone who likes to take risks. So and some people often ask me if I'm on the administrative aspect, or, you know, sales or marketing part, finding customers, if it's not difficult, but I don't think so, because I would say in the kind of environment or family where I grew up, we all have that, you know, commercial type I would say inbuilt in ourselves, right? So it's not something I make effort for. I do it naturally, so it's a chance, and I'm happy for that.
Yeah, but amazing. Okay, yeah, but I understand you when you say that you feel bored, when you say that, okay, you don't feel that you're learning more, you're kind of stagnating. I also don't like that, to be honest. And honestly, it's, well, wonderful what you have done. I think that a lot of people maybe are in your situation, but they don't, you know, they are missing something, you know, to go to the next step. So that's really amazing. And so for now you're two. So before that you were alone, now you're two, and you have your colleague then working more, focusing on the hardware, and you more on the software. I wanted to know, like, what is it, the target audience, not audience, the target, yeah, customers, or what are the business sectors, what you're doing, where can it be applied, and which are the one you're focusing on the most? Let's start with that.
Yep. So the target, anything that is manufacturing matters to me. So let's say you are an industry, you build a product. It could be a food product, beverage. It could be a car. I've worked for steel manufacturers. I've worked also for, textile industries who are involved in energy. Basically anything that has a product as an output, right? That's called manufacturing. So that's the audience, which is pretty large. But if you just shrinken this a little bit, we are focused on France for the beginning. And for the last 3 years, we noticed that we have worked mostly for big corporate companies. So I would say for this year, 2024, and it's already started, we are doing, we would like to do more projects for small businesses, actually. So that's our, let's say, middle-term goal for the next 2 years, to focus more on the middle size or small size businesses. Why? Because one of the vision that we have at AUTEM, and that's something which is really important to me, is our role, as engineers, is to provide let's say, the business environment or the manufacturing environment with tools to stay competitive. Currently in our days, if you are a manufacturer, your first, I would say, you will be worried about one thing, which is staying competitive, staying in business, not being, thrown out of the way by some Chinese competitor, for instance. Even if you are a small business, and I know it's harder when you're a small business. So I think we find more meaning when we are doing this engineering work for small projects. I've did it before, and honestly, yeah, that's where I want to focus my energy and my colleagues also for the next 2 years.
I see. So what I understood, I don't know how to kind of split the market size, but for me in my head, it comes like that. So you have like more residential, then you have like CNI, so commercial and industrial, and then you have more like utility or large projects. What I understood from what you just said is that so AUTEM is more focused, so not more focusing. You have done most projects in large market, and now you want to kind of add in your portfolio the smaller, like medium and smaller market size, right?
Exactly. This afternoon I was again talking with a company who is manufacturing some watches, for the hour. And yeah, they needed to revamp a machine. They are really a small factory, and I like those kind of projects. I think just to say again, the vision of AUTEM, even if I started, from a random idea, but still we have that vision of enabling the manufacturer to be competitive, to have performance. And that comes with automation, because currently you cannot do things manually and have a good price for your product. You need to automate at a certain level at least. So that's why if we apply our knowledge for some small businesses, for some small projects, I think we have more value and even more revenues, because those guys know where the value is. They are not just big corporate companies that just to start a project and they don't care about what's the value of it. So if you convince, and that happens to me frequently, if I convince a small business owner to do a project with him, if he's convinced of the value of it, he's ready to pay the price. So I think it will not impact our revenue. And yeah.
Understood. I think that you mentioned something really important, because nowadays I think you cannot like, especially in what you're doing, I mean, digital, how do you call that in English again? Digitization.
Yeah, digitalize or
Yeah,
automation.
I mean, these are like keys. I hear that every day in my work as well, for example. And I mean, today, the business sectors you're working in, I mean, I think they cannot do without. As you mentioned, the competition is really tough, and if you want to still be competitive, to still be efficient, and so many other topics, you need to be up to date. And for that, at some point, depending on what you're doing, having like digital automation, this is a must. This is a must for sure.
And I will add that it's a must for all kinds of environments. You know, currently we are also working with small businesses in Africa. And I have one example of a client with whom I work, and we deployed a software system to monitor their production rate and, quality, throughput, etc. So you could say that, okay, those guys are not advanced enough, but if you really focus on what they are doing, they are more advanced than half of the industries in France, for instance. I go in factories every day, and I can tell you those guys in Ivory Coast with whom I worked, they are more advanced than many people I saw here in France. So I would say automation is not just reserved or for Europe or America or those kind of mature environment, as they say, but it's for everyone. If you want to stay competitive, you have to go digital.
Definitely. So I'm trying to see. So I see a lot of comments. So hello, Rashid, Kevin. Hello, everyone. I'm just gonna. I don't know, Rashid. Do you know Rashid?
Yeah, he's also a big actor in the industrial sector.
Okay, Rashid.
Working in the hydrogen environment.
Oh, this is also the topic as well. Okay, great. So there is here one question from Asma. I think you can see the comment. Is it not challenging to be a company manager at a young age?
Good question. And I got also a lot of that type of question about age. I'm 30 years old, as I said in the beginning. That's considered as young in the industrial field because of the history. I can tell you, like, innovators like, I don't know, even Tesla or Ford, when they were at their age, I'm talking about the Tesla, the historical one, not Elon Musk, right? Those guys, they started their business, they were 20 years old or something like this. So I wouldn't say it's young, but still, if you consider it as young, I would tell you, I mean, why do you care? I mean, you just care about the value, you care about the results. So if I notice that the person is too more focused on, having someone old to work with, it's definitely not a customer for AUTEM, right? It's not someone we want to work with. Our customers usually don't even ask that question because it's so obvious for them that we are more interested in what your competencies, your values. We don't care about your age, your origins, which school you were in. So all those types of stuff, I just think there are stereotypes or there are just excuses to not make things. I'm being a little bit hard here, but I think that's the truth. You need to say it, right? So yeah, don't be afraid. If you want to be a company manager, Asma, you can go for it.
Yeah, definitely. I love someone said something about it was, so the topic has nothing to do with that, but the comment I think can be definitely we can have this comment also for this question, and it was about like leading, in a couple, and this person said, the person leading is the person who is capable. You're able, you're capable, you lead. End of the story. And for me here, whether you're young, medium, old, whatever, if you're able to do that, you're capable, just do it. If it is something that matters to you, something that, I mean, you feel that you can do it, it's something that makes you happy, just do it and try, at some point. And there is also one amazing sentence. They say, I hope I will remember that. they said that, or someone, I don't know who, but like this, he or she said that fears has destroyed more dreams than failure ever did. So that I find it so true, so
That's
true.
true.
You don't know how many things you're just missing, you know, because you're afraid to try. So, you know, at some point, just go for it. Just try.
Exactly. And you see, Jean-Romain said the right thing. Don't talk me about ages. That's what Kylian Mbappé says.
Oh, I did not know that. Okay.
Yeah. And in
Great.
I think, yeah, just go for it. You know, it's the same with the size of the company. You know, sometime, and that's a shame, but my competitors, some of them are called the integrators, you know, and let's say there are 200 people in the company, and those type of companies, the big integrators in the sector, they manage to put in the head of the industrial leaders that in order to get the best value, you need to work with the bigger integrator, with the bigger companies. And that's not true. Actually, I can tell you one story. Like, there is a company who manufacture metal, right? And they put, let's say, they call it galvanisation in French. They galvanize the metal. They put a layer of, protection on the metal. They contacted me in 2022, right? And we spoke about their project, and they turned down my offer, saying that, well, the offer is not convincing, and they went for a bigger company. I didn't ask what happened after, but let's say last week I get an email from that same company coming back 2 years later, asking me for the same solution, because the big company couldn't do it, right? And now I am here trying to schedule the time to go there and finally deploy the system, because eventually they understood that the value doesn't come from the size, right? You can be a big player, but you don't have the skills. Same thing last I think for Rashid, who is in the hydrogen environment, the company which is called Elogen. I mean, people who know the sector will know. They called me for troubleshooting their networking. They had a communication to configure it, some software stuff. And I asked them, you are in contact with a big company who is expert in network communication for industries. Why didn't you ask them? And they told me they couldn't do it. And I did it with them in 1 hour, So I wouldn't say that the size is important, and everything related to that, it's just, an excuse. So,
yeah, but I think I mean, this is unfortunate, and I feel that this is also one challenge you're facing. I guess I hope it's not, the ratio is not too high, but this is one challenge I can feel that you're facing, and it's really unfortunate. And I wanted to say that the great thing, and I think I can ask you a lot of questions, and the audience as well. On your work, what you're doing, and so many other things. But regarding your work, what I really love about what you're doing is that we will talk about it at the end. I will give you the information, but you have your channel. I mean, AUTEM has a YouTube channel, and there he's sharing so many things, and you can definitely see, you can learn, you can definitely see that you're capable, you're able, you know what you're talking about, right? So they can also trust you. What you're doing on YouTube can also speak for you, for AUTEM in general. I think it's really great what you're doing. And yeah, as you said with your example, at some point they will just face the truth, and at the end the work will have to be done. They will just
come back.
find someone. They have to try, right?
Yeah.
So let me see if we have some questions here. So Kevin, Kevin, I'm so happy to have Kevin on the channel. So there is a question from Kevin, if you want to answer.
So what does he say?
So is it really so cliche to have reservation at the top of a corporation, since one's age is linked to inexperience?
To have reservation. I don't know what you mean by reservations.
I cannot like kind of copy to. Oh,
Kevin, maybe if you can explain more your question.
yeah. Can you please just reformulate it, please? Sorry, my English is not that strong too. I did not get that part. But please, can you just reformulate that? Otherwise, I can also translate to have it easier for us. And I will just show the other question from Asma. Is there a question?
How can we earn the customer's trust in the beginning? Yeah, that's a good one. And I can say so I've been doing this stuff for 3 years and a half now. Most of my customers, they always came back to me at least one time more for an additional project, just because of what you're mentioning, right? The trust. So how to win the trust? And it's not a difficult one. You just need to understand and solve their real need. It's as simple as that. Let's say, I don't know, Selena, you invited me here to share my experience. Why? And if I'm coming here and talking to you about soccer, even though I like the African Cup, which is holding right now, but it wouldn't make sense, right? So the need is to talk about my experience, what I do with AUTEM, and maybe my experience as an engineer in general. So that's the need. I understood it. I'm answering to it, and possibly I'll get your trust, hopefully. So that's how it works with the clients. But at the top of that, you need to be competent, at least in your skill. If not, you need to take some training to make sure that what you will offer as a solution is something which will solve the problem. And that's it.
Okay, thank you for your question, Asma. So I will just put some comment quite fast so we don't have too much from Abu. Yeah, know-how is the key. And then, okay, so we have Kevin. We will come back to Kevin. He said, so like people can be skeptical about the competences. So let me maybe have the first one here. People can be skeptical about competences because you're young. So they, so when the younger you are, then they assume that the less competent you are, I guess.
Oh, okay, that was the question. Well, again, about age and everything which is related to some complexes. I would say those are complexes, complex of inferiority, complex of age. It's just happening maybe at the beginning before you start what you want to start. But as you said, Selena, there's nothing good or bad in starting some stuff. You will just try, and eventually it will either work or fail, but don't be afraid to try.
Yeah, I mean, for me, honestly, when if you're able to do the job, you will do the job, and then this glass will be broken. There will not be this, complex of age. It will be over. This is the first step, right? But I understand that there are some people, God, this first step will never, even if you break it, they don't want to understand that the age here does not count.
Very important what you are saying. You shouldn't.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, this is what I said. For some people, it is difficult. For others, when you break this glass, the first step, after that, it's okay.
Exactly. Some people will respect you for your knowledge, for your skills, once you have broken that glass, as you said. And others will still continue to view you as a young person, but you don't care. I mean, we shouldn't live for the others. In the end, you spend your life with yourself, so you should serve yourself first, and then if you have some energy left, which is not willing to happen, but if you have energy left, then you can care about the others.
Definitely. So there is, well, Kevin, I hope this answer your question. So Asma is saying thank you. Thank you also for your question, Asma. And so 2 more comments and we continue. So there is Abdel Jibour. Oh, this is a long comment and I can, no,
I guess it's about what I transmit on my channels. Okay. Yeah, thanks, Abdel. That's informative.
Yeah.
You said we will talk about the social media thing at the end, right?
Yeah. We'll definitely talk about that. But guys, you don't know what you're missing if you're not following his channel.
So wait until the end and I will answer to that.
Yes. So last question from Dr. Abu.
That's good. Lots of questions. How did you get your first customer? Yeah, it was a fun story. You know, the tunnel of Fréjus in between France and Italy?
No.
That was my first project as AUTEM. You know, in 2020, they were building new control system for the security of the tunnel. That means the like heat, ventilation, alarms, fire detectors, radio communication, all of that, and they are controlled by, of course, automated system. And for that new standard, they needed some automation engineers. So that was the first project I worked for. And how I got that, it was basically through some recruiter. I think they saw my profile on LinkedIn, which was pretty interesting because at that time, I really took seriously the digital media aspect and it paid back. So it brought me my first customer.
Amazing. But I did not know, as we said, we learn every day for this tunnel. I will have a look later.
Yeah, those who go to Italy going through the tunnel of Fréjus now, you can think about me.
I will do that. I wanted to ask you so many things, like for people who have no idea, you know, what your work is about, how your daily work or task can look like. I wanted to ask this question, but I think that the best thing will be to just guide them or to lead them to your channel. I think it will be definitely better. I will share that later.
I did a lot of videos talking about what I do daily. Basically, if I can sum it up, working in industry is just, you know, enjoying the discovery, the curiosity of technical stuff, but also and enduring the dirt, the sweat, the noise, because it's a special environment. It's definitely not for everyone, but I know some people, they can still work in that kind of environment where you need to travel a lot. You need to handle the stress because usually those are some like live production environment. You can imagine you are in a Tesla factory. They are producing cars every 30 seconds. So everything is going fast and you need to keep at the speed, at the pace of the production. So it's both being competent and being, you know, like cool-minded. If you are someone who is easily stressed, don't go for industry because it's really stressful environment. But if you are someone who can handle the stress or who would like to develop that skill of, you know, mastering yourself, mastering your emotions in a stressful environment, it's definitely a very passionate environment. You know, before I started AUTEM, I spent 1.5 years in working for Amazon in Paris. And I can tell you those kind of experiences, even apart from the engineering aspect, it's something which really builds you as a human, right? So
yeah, definitely. God, I wanted to ask you, you know, the kind of skills like an industrial engineer should have. Got so many questions, but and the audience is having also a lot of questions, I can tell
that's
you.
Good.
But there is one, for example, how did AI affect your work?
Positively. Currently, I can speed up my development. I would say by 2. Like the time I spend on development is reduced by half because you will go on ChatGPT, for instance, ask him what you want to do, and he will give you, you know, the structure, the basic backbone to write your code. So it's helping. It's saving time, I would say.
Okay, understood. So I can show you the questions, or let me maybe ask you this one, like, because the title is engineering and business and challenges
Yep.
in industry, especially in the industrial automation field. I wanted to ask, like, what are the challenges and obstacles that you have faced? I don't know. I hope it's not a long list, but I want. I mean, I hope you did not have really that negative. But challenge not always negative. But like, what are the one, or which are the one which impacted you the most, I would say?
Yeah. So yeah, I can list tons of examples. I mean, every day I have fun story. So I told you about the thing that happened to me today with the watch manufacturer, last week with those guys from the hydrogen company. So every day something happens. So, but before talking about the challenges, I would say for me, the challenges are more of, an opportunity to grow. It's a little bit of cliche to say that, but really, like, there's a phrase that I liked from, I think, Henry Ford. He says, so before explaining that, when a plane, just to put in context, when a plane, take off, usually the engineers, they will make sure that the wind is going against the plane, because that's the wind which put the planes up. So if you consider your difficulty or your challenge as the wind, and you are a plane, it's perfect for you, because it will make it easier for you to take off, and that's how Henry Ford says it. He says, when everything seems to go against you, remember that the airplane takes off against the wind, not with it. Like, so I think it tells a lot about my view on challenges. Usually when I will tell you about a challenge, there is also a fun story, like happy ends with it. So
Okay,
but to come back to your question,
Yeah.
there are many examples. What can I say? One example, for instance, which happened recently. Well, what can I say? Yeah, maybe in the pharma industry, there was this example of, when we are in business, we are doing engineering, but we are also, making money, because it's important to keep the business running. And you need to choose your price, like the price you will offer to your customer, the manufacturer, the factory. So there was this pharma company in Lyon. I won't say the name, but they will recognize them. Who comes to me? They have a lot of very legacy controllers, like old stuff, more than my age sometimes. But they're still running, which is amazing. That means the old stuff, they were really robust. But anyway, they have these old controllers for their machine that they would like to debug, because they are creating a lot of issues on the production. So they call me, ask me to come like tomorrow for an intervention. They need a quick diagnostic, and they want the production to go back running. Something important that I learned, and I still apply them with that manufacturer in the pharmaceutical industry, is you shouldn't let yourself influenced by the urgency, because everything is urgent in the industry. I told you about the history of Tesla, Amazon, those kind of environment. So everything is urgent. So in your offer, if you are an industrial service provider, you need to stick to your prices, right? I have a certain price that I never go below. That's really my minimum. And depending on the needs, depending on the value of what you will bring, in the case of those guys, it had a lot of value, because every minute of production, it's like millions or tens of millions of euros. So I just went back, wrote my offer, sent it to them saying, well, I won't be able to come tomorrow, but here is the offer. And if you are okay with it, then we can plan an intervention maybe next week. And you know what happened? Suddenly, what was urgent for tomorrow, they told me, okay, we'll take time to think about it. That means it was not urgent at all. They just maybe played with the urgency just to influence my decision. So you need to stick to your price. Eventually, maybe some clients will go away. That's normal. It's business. But the real players, like the one who have the real needs, they will stick to you and they will come back because they know the value, they know the skills, and they know that it's rare. I can tell you, like in the automation sector, we are not a lot who know how to handle these machines. So knowing all of that, you can, put the right price, not something expensive, but something which is just compared to the demand and the offer, right?
Yeah, okay, got interesting.
That's just one example, but there are a lot of stuff like this. I mean,
I feel that there are a lot, but to kind of change the type of challenge, if challenges, if I can say it this way, but I think that before this question, we can check the question from the audience. But I wanted to ask you how then your personal life, you mentioned you're like newly father, and how does it affect the whole business in general. But let me show, no, this one I already showed it to you. So
Bouraima, a follower of my channel. Nice to have you here. Troubleshooting and offer solution, or should try to design machine and propose companies. Just to reply quickly, Bouraima, I said it's important to stay to answer to the need of your client. If the need is to troubleshoot, just go for troubleshooting. Even though you have the best skills to design machines, just solve his troubleshooting first. Otherwise, he will not listen to you. So you need to do what the client needs. Of course, you can have a core competency. It can be designing machines. I think you and we have those kind of skills. But first, what will make you start the activity with the client is, solving his urgency or his priority.
Okay. Well, thank you for the question, and thank you for your answer, Marc. Asma is asking, but some difficulties we were talking about this just
with the customer. I mean, it's a daily thing. So currently, it's more of a sport thing for me.
Challenges. I think maybe you can have a video kind of not Q&A on the challenges.
Yeah,
I mean, it's interesting.
It's a good idea. Maybe, I mean, you were the first to invite me and talk about this business aspect. So maybe I will do an event and answer to all of those questions about challenges. But just for a quick summary, like the challenges which I faced the most, it's like the client / billing / pricing of the service. So that's more of a commercial stuff. There are a few stories on that aspect. There's an aspect of challenges about the skills, because the technologies are changing pretty fast. So you need to find the correct way to update your skills, and that's also another like chapter of challenges that I can also tell some stories about that. Okay. So, and what type of challenges? You also have those challenges related to the personal thing. Let's say before I was alone, now we are two. So my first employee, actually, who can tell you a lot of stories about how we deal with this team environment, working together, everything related to people, right? We are humans, we are people. So that's another chapter of challenges. So depending on what you would like to know, you can ask me and I will give you some examples about that.
Okay, interesting. But I think that it will be a great idea to kind of, as I said, separate a video for that. People seem interested. And there is Abdel asking a bit more technical or point of view.
Future of Industry 4. Okay. What's my vision on IoT? I'm laughing because it's something which is covered pretty well currently by someone I know whose name is Rakoto Arizoa. You can find him on LinkedIn, and he covered very well those topics. So instead of answering you, Abdel, I will just redirect you to Rija. He's making currently a 90 days challenge about specifically your topic.
Yeah, that's great. I think you can send it to me on our private chat, and I can maybe just share the name so we can go and search that. And meanwhile, I can share the last question. Okay. Mamsher Ibra, he's talking about some trainings online. Well, by the way, I discovered that you're offering some trainings online.
Yeah, that's part of the like training chapter I told you about. But well, my platform, yeah, you can go on it, but there's much more content on the YouTube videos that I do every week. So don't hesitate to subscribe to my channel. Also subscribe to Selena channel, of course.
Thank you. Well, there are a lot of questions, but by the way, Abdel, I have just put in the comment section. I don't know if you can see that, but maybe I can send it to you later. The link of the contact that Marc was talking about.
Perfect.
But let's come to the topic that you mentioned. That I wanted to talk about. The challenge was like personal and professional life.
Yep.
How is it going?
Well, good question. And it's nice that we talk about this, even though the topic of the live is business related, because it's very, very much linked together, right? The personal and business professional part. As I told you in the beginning, I have a long-term goal that I cannot disclose here because, you know, I'm building it. Those who really know me, my best friends, will know what I'm talking about. So if you are hearing this and you know what I'm talking about, that means you are part of my best friends. But yeah, for that long-term goal, I'm trying to build everything in my first 10 years of experience towards that goal. And in building the things, it's not just professional. Like AUTEM is one small part of it. I've been doing it just for 3 years now, but I've been in the industry since 2015, as I told you. And between 2015 and 2020, what happened was I also worked a lot of my personal life. I can tell you, like, because I really believe that you need to, you shouldn't be afraid to start small and start slowly. I really have a grief against the startup nation or the startup mindset, because what they introduced in the mind of people, especially young people, is that when you start a business or whatever you start, you need to start it very fast. Like, you need to show proof of like results in few months, which is insane. Like, people burn their life in that kind of environment. It can be good for some people, but really, like, if you see a startup leader and you ask him this question, do you see your wife? Are you happy with your kids? I'm not sure he will answer positive things, right? Usually it comes at a cost, and the family pays the cost. So to answer your question about the personal and professional aspect, I'm taking the time, you know, between 2015 and 2025, so the first 10 years, to build very strong grounds, you know, knowing myself, connecting with the family, the friends, diving deep on the, you know, the human roots that I have, and everything like that for me is very more important than just the company. Tomorrow, if AUTEM stops, it won't disturb my life. And I don't say to frighten my clients. I mean, don't be afraid. I will not stop your project right now, but just to tell you that I'm living it this really like disconnected minded, you know. And I think in my case that works very well. And you can also relate that personal professional balance with some stories of the like real competitors. If you take, for instance, athletes, like their professional life become their personal life, and they really need to pay attention to how it's, you know, mixing together. Otherwise they will burn. You can hear the story of Thierry Henry. I think everyone knows him from the France team of soccer. He just did last week a podcast on Diary of a CEO from Stephen Bartlett. People know it, right? Where he explained that during his 20 years of career, he was just focused on the like target, goals, objectives, performance. But when he stopped, he had a very big like burnout, because all of a sudden he realized he had a personal life, but he didn't build on it. So he was, I would say, and he even himself says it. He said he was very fragile, but he was just, you know, playing the role of an athlete just to forget about his fragility. So yeah. So to summarize, because there's a lot of things that I can tell about this, but just to summarize, you need to really work on yourself first. It's the real priority now, and business is just something at the top of it. You know, you will just attract some clients, customer from what you are. There are some clients which I got and they told me, well, we like you, that's why we chose you. And I don't know what they put behind we like you, but I think it's all of what I represent, right?
Yeah. Understood. As you mentioned, we can deep dive into that subject definitely for even more time, but unfortunately we don't have that much time, at least live for this live.
Exactly.
I wanted to kind of go slowly to the end of the live, but I saw one amazing question. I wanted to put it here, and yeah, from Abu, it's an amazing question. I will let you answer.
What makes us different? I think the main difference with both of us, so my colleague Shukri and I, is the capacity to adapt. We are very flexible. I mean, we put a lot of energy to keep strengthening, sharpening our skills, so that when a client arrives, you will not just do a copy paste of a solution that you did yesterday for another client. We will try to, you know, propose something new or something more adapted to their needs in terms of in terms of choice of technology, in terms of schedule of deployment. You know, for instance, in our sector, the automation, industrial automation, people tend to, you know, choose one type of technology, being expert on that, and stick to that. But they forget to update, to keep innovating. And I think the best integrators, I mean, the service provider who will be still there in the future, are the ones who are able to innovate, you know, to broaden their knowledge, because otherwise they will just die. I mean, it's obvious.
Yeah, I understand what you mean. So they will have like a broader portfolio, and they can definitely choose the right one for a specific customer needs. I think it's definitely. I understand what you mean. Interesting. So I hope that you're happy with the answer, Abu.
Yeah. Thanks for the question, Abu.
Yeah, and I wanted to ask. I mean, this last one is like, can you share some, like, let's say, medium, long-term vision for AUTEM?
So I can, as I told you, the long-term vision I cannot disclose here, but the middle-term vision is to focus on middle-size industries. You know, trying to bring them value, trying to make them competitive, to make them, you know, efficient and performant in their business. That's the midterm goal for small and middle-sized industries.
Okay, understood. Okay, so then question about AUTEM, and where can we find more information on AUTEM, on which platform, if there is a website, how can we contact you? Please give us everything.
Well, the question will be where to not find AUTEM, because I'm kind of everywhere, it seems. So you can find me on LinkedIn, on the website, on Google, on YouTube. I mean, I really took seriously that, you know, digital aspect, because first of all, I think in our generation, we are more sensitive to digital. So usually, even some managers now, when they need a service, they will go on Google and type industrial automation companies or service providers for machinery or industrial integrators, and they will just click and call the person. It happens to me every week. So yeah, I try to develop my visibility online, so you won't have any issue to find me.
Great, and I did prepare something, but I will definitely share it later as well on a post. But there is here, you have the website, as he mentioned, you have AUTEM on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook as well, and you have also Marc. You can find Marc on LinkedIn, and I think that if you just write to him, he will answer you. So I will share all this, of course, in the description on YouTube or on a post, as I said, so you can directly have the link available. Then I see that we're a bit, not a bit, we're over our schedule, but I have one last game. It's a funny game, you know, easy, quite fast. If you want to, we can do that. Otherwise, we can skip it.
Yeah, we can go for it. I like challenges.
I don't know if it's a challenge, but okay. So first question, what food couldn't you live without? I mean, what is the food you could not eat?
What's the thing? The food. There's one food which is called gari. People who lived in Africa will recognize it. It's like some cassava flour. I cannot live without it. It's always somewhere in my
Okay, good. Second question, if you had to delete all but 3 apps from your smartphone, which one would you keep? So 3 apps.
Oh my God, let me see. Which one I will keep?
Yes, 3. You have 3 choices.
Apart from the call messaging, or it's included?
Is it an app? I don't know.
I mean, yes. I mean, WhatsApp is an app. So
yeah, WhatsApp. Yes, I was talking about the standard calling. But okay. No, yes, WhatsApp. Yes, it is an app.
It's inside it. Okay, which one I will keep?
Yes.
There is one app which I use frequently right now for learning languages. I mean, it's not actually an app. It's called yourteacher.ai.
Oh, I don't know this one.
Yeah, I like languages, and so on that one you can practice every day, and it's like an artificial intelligence teacher which replies to you in the language you want to practice, which is pretty well because you can make errors. They won't cry at you. So yeah, I would say that one. And apart from that, the basic communications app, let's say WhatsApp and Telegram for the last 2.
Okay, WhatsApp and Telegram. Okay, interesting. Then if you could be an animal for a day, which one would you choose?
Definitely an elephant.
Oh, really? Why? I would like to
know why. I had the chance to go for honeymoon in the Serengeti Park in Tanzania. And I don't know, but, at some point I was like 50 centimeters close to an elephant, and there is really an energy in that thing, So wow. I think that's an animal which is often neglected. Like it's slow, it's big, it represents the fat, but I think it has some mighty aspects with it. An elephant is strong, it has roots, it has memory, like it can remember his origins like a lot of years back and come back to that place like 100 years after. So very impressive.
Yeah. I had one guest already gave me this answer, and I did not know much about the elephant, but now I
mean, you need to be close to an elephant to understand it.
I might be running away, but okay. Question number 4. What's the best piece of advice you have ever received? I mean, until today.
Best piece of advice.
Yes.
There is one which come actually from one of my mentors. He's currently in Nigeria and he's mostly traveling the world. But Richard, you will recognize yourself. He told me, you need to. So if you want to change something, you need to do step by step, like very small piece, one after the other. There is one word to summarize it. It's like in French we call it the 6P, le prochain plus petit pas possible. The idea is just, you break down your change in very small pieces and you do just one after the other until the end. In that kind of incrementation and iteration, you get much better in a much faster time.
Well, this advice is for me. Okay,
And
great
it
one.
applies to everything. Like it applies to personal changes, it applies to professional changes. I mean,
Amazing one. Amazing one. Okay. Last question. If you had to isolate yourself alone on an island, what three things would you take with you? What are the three things you will take with you? Again, three. I'm
things or
thinking.
persons, because I will rather take persons with
Thanks.
me.
One person, that's a good. Okay.
It needs to be
Okay.
a thing. Okay, fine.
But still three.
Okay, no, I'll do your thing. So three things. There is a book from a writer called it's about Egypt, because I
Yeah.
like history, philosophy. I mean, very strange hobbies, but I like it. And there's that book from Cheikh Anta Diop. I would
Mhm.
definitely keep with me. So that's one. Um, two other stuff. I think my how do you call it, the wireless mouse, which is
Yeah.
something I work with every day, and it's still here on my desk, here, that one. That's
But
something which has,
you just take it with you like that.
I mean, yeah, I mean, you said just three things, you didn't say
Yeah, I
two
know,
things
but
useful.
okay.
Because that little thing is valued like millions of euro because of what I do with it. Anyway, so that's number two. And
Okay.
number three, what can I take else? My phone, because I can get the word through it. So
Okay. But the thing is, like, if you take the wireless mouse, but you cannot use it there, what's the point?
just memories.
Okay, great. I will not argue. And I am nice. If who would be the three people you will then take with you? That would be maybe a good message for them.
My daughter, my wife, and I think last person, difficult to choose, but
You are not obliged if you don't want to.
yeah, those, so it will be three. That's enough.
Great, great, great. Amazing. So, Mark, as you can see, thank you. We are a bit over schedule, but I'm really happy we went through that. And as I told you, there are so many questions, but I think that maybe for another video, or these are subjects you can maybe do another time on your channel.
Yep.
And well, thank you very, very, very much for your time. Thank you for what you have shared with us. And I want to ask you, what can we wish you for the future? Wish AUTEM.
Well, before telling my wish, yeah, thank you for inviting me. I didn't see the time passing, so that means it was a good time.
Yeah.
Very interesting also to have that experience of being a guest, because usually I'm the host, so it's interesting to have the reverse experience. And I mean, feel free to come back also on my channel. Maybe we'll organize the following questions together on the other channel. So
Oh yeah, that's a great idea. That's a great idea, like that. Why not? Anyway, we can
yeah,
talk about it. So
sure. The question, yeah, what you can wish me? Well, as I told you, I'm learning some languages with the help of AI. Currently, my focus is on Italian, so you can wish me consistency to practice that because it's a hell of a challenge.
well, good luck. I don't know for me if it's been crazy from my side. I'm also learning, but like 5 languages at the same time. Plus
It's
what
already
are
a lot. It's already a
yeah,
lot.
but I did not put some, I don't know how to say, like complex targets.
Mm-hmm.
As you mentioned, the 6P, I'm just like focusing on small challenges. And then
Mm-hmm.
after that, I just want to have some basic knowledge on these languages. For me, it's a must. And then if I want to go further, then I will go further. But yeah, well, Mark, again, thank you very, very, very much for all
Welcome.
this. And guys, the only thing I can tell you right now is really to go on his channel and to see what he's doing. I think that when you see that, the work will speak for itself, and you will
Mm-hmm.
definitely have to subscribe and to like support him. So as I said, he will be available. You can contact him whenever you want on the different the platforms I have shared, and I will share it again. So that's it, Marc. Thank you very much.
Yeah, one last word for your audience. I know maybe it's the same for you. Like 70% of the people who will see that video will not subscribe to your channel. So please, for those guys, you need to click that subscribe button. You know, I can tell it because I'm also doing some YouTube videos. So please, guys, if that has been some value for you, you just need to click at least the like button, and then you can subscribe to the channel, please.
Yeah, I mean, this is when you check your statistic, this is something you can see. And please just leave us a comment to tell us how was our English here. It's the first one for me, so I was really afraid. I think that all my vocabulary has been shared here, but
I think we won the challenge.
Yes,
it was a good one.
Great. Well, again, Marc, thank you very much, and I wish you a pleasant evening. And yeah, we would talk soon.
Great. Thanks to you. See you, everyone.
See you. So thank you, everyone. I still wanted to say thank you for all your questions, for your support, and really great question. I'm sorry if I think we answered all the questions. If we miss some, feel free to, if they are towards me, feel free to just send them to me directly, or to send the question for Marc directly to him, and he will answer. So let me know what you think on the video, on this English initiative, and as Marc said, so share it, like, and of course subscribe if you don't want to miss the future videos. So thank you, everyone. Take care, and see you for the next video. Bye-bye.